dark and scary night, it can be hard to tell what lurks in the shadows. Could it be a terrible beast, or perhaps a friendly cat just wanting to say hello? No
Hey,
one
Jobe, are you
knows.
doing the intro?
What are you doing?
Trying to do the intro, guys.
Really? Why are you putting so much effort into this? Just go, oh, it's scare by scare. And
Yeah, like, scare by scare, you know?
Okay, fine. Welcome, listener, to Scare by Scare.
Cue the music.
Alright, so music's fading in.
is this an Inception podcast?
Maybe in another dream. Hi, I'm Jobe.
This sucks. I'm Trace, and we are honored to have our very valuable guest star, our ex-boyfriend Marshall.
Hey, what's up? They call me Stinky Pete. I'm glad to be here with these guys today. I've known them since we were young boys, as in younger. I wasn't very young. Trace is ancient, but I think we're gonna kick it back to Trace here for a sec.
Yeah, and I'm just so happy to be doing this bit. All right, kicking it back to you, Jobe.
And I'm bad at soccer, so I grabbed the ball with my hands. I'm holding it now.
You're just the goalie.
Nope, because I play center.
This was a Jobe pick for this week, wasn't it?
Oh yeah,
For the movie?
I think that we can't stress that enough.
This was Jobe's movie.
We're just gonna get out ahead of the pack on this one. Yes, this is a Jobe movie.
This is a Jobe.
A Jobe V, if you will.
No, I think that's all bad. We should just cut that
All
out,
right.
guys.
All right, we'll try it again next year.
Next year.
Alrighty. When Nine, played by Elijah Wood, springs to life, it finds itself in a post-apocalyptic world where humans no longer exist, and the only signs of life are sentient ragdolls like itself and the machines that hunt them.
Are you doing a summary of 9?
I hope this is a bit and he just didn't watch the right movie.
What the fuck are you doing?
I forgot what the movie was called, so I just looked up the movie that prominently features Nine, and that's what came up. Yes, this is a bit.
I made that reference to Mass and I'm like, yo, like 9 with Elijah Wood. And she goes, what?
All right. Let's stop goofing around and get serious for a moment.
Joshing.
All right. Hey everyone. We watched a movie called Vivarium. We open on like 15 logos played back to back. First minute, just logos. After that, we see some ugly ass baby birds, and we see I think it's called a cuckoo. Am I saying that right? A cuckoo that
Cuckoo.
kicks the baby birds out other than itself. Mama bird
It
comes
used
back
its
and
ass.
is like, yeah, he boxed them out like Larry Bird. So yeah, Mama bird comes back and is like, oh shit. Hey, 1 out of 3 ain't bad. And then that bird grows up and is like, you stupid asshole. I'm not even yours. We look nothing alike. I'm huge. Then we cut to Imogen Boots playing the role of Gemma, a school teacher. And she's leading a section on trees. And the wind, and they go. Then we cut to the outside, and one of the parents is picking up their child, and they're like, "Oi, Gemma, how's the house hunting going?" And she's like, "Oh, bother. In this economy, not so good." Then Gemma sees a girl standing off to the side by herself, and she's like, teacher powers, activate! What's wrong, little girl? And she goes, Bird is dead. What happened? And then Gemma's like, oh, well, these birds were pushed out by that ugly bird from the intro. And the girl goes, why did it do that? That's how life is. Life sucks. Tell me about it. So the little girl runs off, and then all of a sudden the tree starts fucking talking to her. It's the first scare of the movie, really.
Okay.
But then we meet Tom, the gardener, played by Jesse Eisenberg. And yeah, he's like, hey, I'm your boyfriend. Let's go meet with our real estate agent. So we cut to the real estate agent, Martin, played by, I don't know. I didn't look that one up. I'm sorry, guys. But Martin's
Jonathan
great.
Eris.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, hold on, quick pause. You guys have to agree though.
Okay.
Martin was great. Martin was fun.
He was
Martin bothered me just so much.
so creepy.
So they go to meet
Wait.
this real estate agent, Martin, and Martin is creepy and he's great. It's so hard to just like kind of describe. But basically he's like if someone woke up and was Martin for the first time in their life and they were trying to make it up as they went along. So anyway, he's all like, yeah, let's go check out a house. And Jesse Eisenberg, playing the role of Tom, goes, I don't want to follow this guy. But then Jim is like, we'll follow you in your car. We'll take our car and we'll drive there. So they do. We go to the community known as Yonder. Because that's when people ask where you live, you just say, over yonder.
They didn't even make that joke in the movie.
I know.
But wouldn't
That is
imply
one
you're
strike
living
against
over
it.
the community.
Yeah. In a plane.
Okay.
A house plane.
There's no
Anyway.
planes. They distinctly say that.
Yeah, no planes, only artificial clouds. Oops.
So they tour the house, and it's pretty nice, a little ugly, and it's out in suburbia, and yeah, Martin's all like, "Have some wine and strawberries," and they go, "No." We're kind of off-putted about the whole thing, and he's like, "Fair enough, bye." And they're like, "Hey, where'd Martin go? Car's gone. I guess he just left us. Whatever. Fuck this place. Let's go." But after a long day of, they just keep finding themselves back at number 9. They switch drivers. They drive all day until they run out of gas. Until they keep finding themselves back at 9. So they shrug and say, fuck it. And they go inside and they drink wine, have strawberries. Strawberries are tasteless. Not because of anything that the movie does, but just because that's how strawberries are grown now, to have no flavor. And they go to sleep in number 9. They wake up the next morning, and then Tom is just like, we're just going to walk straight path, follow the sun. Even if the sun's directly above us, we're just going to walk straight up. They do that. And after a whole day of just walking in a straight line, they find themselves back at 9. Oh no! This has gone crazy. They find a cardboard box with some oddly packaged supplies, toiletries, and food and shit. And they're like, okay, well, that's one thing less to worry about. And then Tom is like, oh, I'll give you something to worry about. And he lights the house on fire. And Jim is like, oh my God, Tom, what are you doing? And Tom's like, well, someone will probably come to check this out and get us out of here. I don't like being here no more. I lost my whole weekend to this damn neighborhood. But the house burns down. Nobody comes. They fall asleep. They wake up. The house is still there. And there's another box. Ooh, what's in this one? It's a baby. And on the flap, it says, raise the child and be released.
Raise the roof.
Or raise it. Oh, God. Madison, cut that out.
No.
Nuh-uh.
Then, speaking of cutting, we cut to, was it like 94 days later?
96.
Okay. The baby is now a boy, like, is like 8, 10, somewhere in there. And this boy is like if you took a clipping of Martin and grew him in the backyard.
Dude.
He's very strange, and he screeches a lot. And yeah, it's pretty fun watching Tom and Gemma be like, man, fuck this kid. But then, Tom is all like, dig a tunnel. Dig a tunnel. Quick, before the hyenas come.
He's digging a hole, if anyone didn't get that.
Yeah.
So he's digging a hole,
Sorry,
and this is his thing now. This is his hobby. He digs a hole. He comes inside, and Jim's like, "What'd you do today?" He's like, "Dug a hole." Wake up the next morning. What are you doing today? Digging a hole. So he does that, and yeah, he's not a fan of the child. Child, I don't think is a fan of him. Gemma is a little more complicated. She starts to like come around on him a little bit, but also, ooh, how she hates him. But oh, he's just a boy. But ooh, how she hates him. So then we cut to even more days in the future, and now the boy is like a man. Ooh.
What?
He's a big boy.
And old Tom, he's just like, his body's withering away. The body says, no more digging. And then Gemma says, what's that your bones said? And he said, that we're digging today. God damn it.
We yearn for the mines.
The only place I feel at home is 24 feet below the Earth's crust. Anyway. So yeah, he's hobbling around. He goes back to digging. He finds something. Ooh, what could it be? He doesn't have time to tell. He got out there and he's like. And Gemma, meanwhile, what's her hobby? Oh, she follows the man around. The man around the town, but she keeps on losing him. And then, after a long day of trying to find him, she's just like, man, fuck this. She goes back to number 9, only to find that the man, son of a bitch that he is, locked them out of the house. So her and Tom just sleep in the car. Next morning, Tom is like, and she's all like, oh no, he's dying. The man comes out and she's like, you there, man, do something. And he's like, yes, he shall maybe be released today. And he walks off, and Gemma and Tom spend the whole day together, reminiscing about how they met and stuff. And then Tom dies.
Oh no.
Just in time for the man to come back, and he's like, good news, I got something for Tom. Whips out a body bag.
Oh, but then the best part of the movie happens next. Continue, Joe.
Okay, So yeah, he puts old Tom in the body bag. Gemma's all like, and then the man just picks up Tom, takes him over to the hole that Tom spent his remaining days digging, and just tosses him in. Unless I'm missing something.
No, as they leave, he's there on the ground and he starts walking away, and then she brains him with the pickaxe because he dumps both bodies at the end of the movie.
No, he dumps Tom right in there.
Tom first.
God, I'm an idiot. I'm so fucking stupid.
I knew it.
So
cut this out.
Yeah,
cut
getting
this
to
out.
what more. So like me was saying, after Tom dumps. After the man dumps Tom in the hole that he dug.
So you don't even know what you're talking about.
He then continues to walk. So then Gemma comes at him with a pickaxe, and he ping, oof, ouchie, crawling on all fours. I need a place to hide. I know, under the sidewalk.
He turns into the mask.
And then Gemma goes, oh no, you don't get to go under the sidewalk without my permission, young man. And she dives in after him, does a whole blue skidoo, we can too.
So many references today.
I know, I'm just awful. Turn it off. Yeah. Anyway, it's the only reasonable thing to do. Anyway. So then Gemma starts like falling through multiple realities, seeing other people that were obviously put in the same situation as her. One woman copes by crying, a couple cope by fucking, one guy didn't cope, and eventually she just tumbles her way back into number 9, the one she's used to. And I think at that point she just like goes outside, realizes what's happening, and she just like gives up. And then the man then puts Gemma in a body bag, and they have a touching farewell where she goes, "I just wanted a home," and then the man is like, "Oh, mother, you are home," and she goes, "I'm not your fucking mother," and he goes, "What was that?" And she goes, "Nothing." But the man already doesn't care. He zips her up in a body bag, lugs her down the stairs, cracking her skull on every step down, and then hoists her into the hole. He then gets into their car, puts a little gas in it, and drives back into not yonder. He goes back to the real estate office and finds Martin, who is now old and dying. So the man then takes his name tag and assumes the title of Martin, which I guess is his job, not his name. He then puts the old Martin into another body bag, rolls him up like a like a sleeping bag, and then just like puts him away for a rainy day. And
Just
then
in case
he
he's
starts
needed.
to, and then the cycle begins anew as a new couple comes in looking for a house, and that's Vivarium. Yeah,
It was a chore.
So this was a Job movie.
Yeah,
Job liked
very
Job.
much so.
Job liked Job movie. Marshall and Trace did not like Job
No.
movie. I do have to say in defense of the movie. This is for you, Job. The lady, Gemma, and Jesse Eisenberg, who I refer to as when we're watching it, Mark Zuckerberg,
Yeah,
played their roles to a T, right?
they did well with what they were doing.
They're trying to convey this whole deal of Gemma being like doesn't like the kid, but also maternal instincts kicking in, which was, I think, really funny sometimes when, Tom would come in and he'd be like, "Oh, I'm eating my eggs," and she's like, "Oh, so how's the hole digging coming along?" And he's like, "So," and then she's like, "Oh, you're making some progress?" "Yeah, I think so. Actually, I'm gonna go dig more." Right? Like, come on, you can go look outside. She's trying to make conversation for the kid, right? And then Tom just fucking hating this kid with his entire body and soul and caring about Hole.
This whole tussy.
On the other hand, it was a very boring movie.
Yeah, it was just not a lot happened. I mean, it was just same thing day in, day out for however many days there were. I don't remember where we ended on.
Now, this is where I'm gonna hop in with my.
Now after the 20 minutes you've been speaking.
I'll be back later, guys.
I'm sorry. No, Jeff, I love you.
No.
I smooch.
Bring in one of the interns.
We don't have interns.
Hello.
There's no intern positions available. Everyone, if you're looking for applying, we have no positions.
We can't pay you
unless
kissies count as currency.
Yeah, if you want an internship to do some work for us,
you actually have to pay us.
Yeah, it's like
I honestly don't even know. Like, even if we had an unpaid intern, what would they do?
They'd pay my Warhammer.
Isn't that the joy of collecting?
Well, they'd play with me. I'd make them do what you do when you were down here, Joe.
Yeah, they play games with Marshall. They do some online gaming with me. They can talk to Jobe, whatever he does.
We watch Vivarium.
Anywho, Job was about to.
For me.
But anyway,
was about to say something good about Vivarium.
Trace was saying that it's large chunks of the movies are the same thing day in and day out, and I'm going to make my shitty English analyst point of that's the point. They are stuck doing the same thing day in and day out.
Okay, and that's fine. I understand that's the point of the movie. My question is why? Who wants to watch that?
Because the point that so for me the ultimate horror of the movie is it's kind of existentialist, but they under these weird circumstances do live a full life in suburban England, I think.
Yes.
I can't tell if are there more British people or more American
No, it was definitely in England. They were driving on the wrong side of the road.
Yeah, that's right. But I saw the Nissan, so maybe they were in Japan and they just didn't to any Japanese
We have
people.
Nissans here.
God, Joe.
Yeah, but ours are on the right side of the road.
Oh my god. All right. Anyway,
Dude,
I'm gonna argue though that they don't live a full life. They live a life full of anger and contempt.
like most people.
And it's like 100 days maybe. It's like half a year.
No, it's probably like half a year and 100 days are two completely different things, first off.
Well, that was
Anywho.
I wasn't at the time, but I'm defending myself by saying.
I don't have to defend myself to you. Half a year, 100 days. What's it matter? It's space.
Unsurprisingly, my whole shtick, right, Joe, when you were summarizing it, right? Your summary was, I don't know, let's say a length of 10, right? Just for whatever, right?
Okay.
Your intro was 5, and then you said, all right, they have the kids there. The kid happens at 5. And then you say, and then stuff happens. That's 5 to 6, right, with the young child. And then you skip to 7, where they are now old kid. From 5 to 6 in the movie was most of the movie. Yeah. Your summary was little bit. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yes. There's so many scenes of this kid either screaming because he doesn't have a cereal, or another one, screaming because he doesn't have a cereal, or screaming because he wants to watch television at night, or what's another one? Oh, screaming because of the fucking cereal. Or what else is he doing? Barking like a dog. He does that one a lot too. Bark.
And then he talks in a voice that isn't his.
Yeah. It's
and weird. He watches his parents, non-parents, they do the dirty, and he's like, this is good entertainment right here.
I'm gonna do that someday.
Doggy.
He's just going, when I'm Martin, I'm gonna get laid someday.
No, whatever these things are completely asexual. There's no way to hell that they have any sexual tendencies.
These things, they're called real estate agents.
Like,
yeah, these things.
I see what the point Jobe is trying to make, right? Which is like, it's the whole theme of the shtick and stuff like that, and English, blah blah blah. And then I agree. Like I said, I also see Trace's point, as I've mentioned. Nothing happens in the movie. There is a happy medium, right? There is something in there, right? I think they went a little too far on the nothing happens, because nothing does happen in the movie. And as I was saying earlier, it's a very clippable show. You could clip the whole thing down to like 15 minutes and you'd still get the whole. You could guess what the feeling is, even if you didn't watch 40 minutes of them just screaming at a kid for screaming, right?
Right, because like they probably spend a good 30 minutes just doing the same day over. They do Groundhog Day over and over again, but with no different outcomes. So you could just cut that down into a couple of days where we're time jumping, and then you got a nice 10-minute movie.
I will admit,
I will
concede that I think
Tracy's got his little whiteboard with a tally mark.
Yeah, and because I'm not there to ever mark it, I have
every time he comes over, I hide it. I can go get it, actually. I do have one.
I mark, and then Trace erases it as soon as I leave. Anyway, no. I will admit that even with what I believe to be the point of they're kind of showing how life flies by in an instant, and it's not always in the way that you plan it. I feel like could have shown a bit more of perhaps the boys' teenage years, or explored more, like, I don't know, other aspects where, like, maybe there's a time where Tom starts to hang out with him a little bit, and maybe they start to connect before he goes, ew, gross.
Yeah, it could have tied in, I think, more to the theme of the actual movie of just Vivarium, because, like, as viewers, we see, like, we spend most of our time with the young boy, and then out of nowhere, it skips from young boy to the boy is now 30, and we don't really know how much time has passed. I'm assuming we're probably just going to guess like a full year. Like, we'll just say it takes 1 year for this child to become a man, right? But like in this time, the only thing that's changed for the adults, like Gemma just now, instead of following the kid around the house, follows him around and loses him, which is hard because she starts like, which is kind of stupid, because she starts like 100 yards behind him. Is like, all right, I'm gonna follow you, and then he like takes a corner and then he's fucking gone. Anywho, and then Tom is just still, digging a hole. My other critique is I'm so confused of if Tom is an American because he speaks an American accent, and I'm assuming it's because Jesse Eisenberg said, "I don't want to do a British accent," and then there he is in England, and he's a gardener for a school. I don't know many schools that have gardeners around here where I live. I mean, they usually just have like a guy that goes and mows the lawn, but he's not out here like gardening. You know, he's not like the groundskeeper, right? He just
like Jennifer.
He just cuts the grass, man. You know,
Man.
is that just me?
No, I feel like
mean,
it's definitely like a really hoity-toity private school.
It may be.
Perhaps. I mean, they're a teacher and a gardener looking for a house. They have to be making some money.
Yeah, pounds.
Oh,
Fake
some
money.
quid.
Oh,
Wait,
you got 5 quid for me? I will say there are some funnier bits where it's not even funny. It's just something I want to start doing because I think it's slightly humorous.
Body slamming children onto pavement.
Yeah. Martin asks if they want some wine, and Gemma goes, "Oh no, thanks, I'm driving." And he goes, "Okay, do you want some strawberries?" And then Tom goes, "No, thanks, I'm driving." And I was like, yeah, I think I'm driving is gonna be now the excuse for everything. Like, oh hey, can you watch my kids? Sorry, I'm driving.
What threw me for a loop is when the whole shtick is like Tom's digging down and he like hears things happening, but he can't like get there. And he's dug a fairly deep hole at this point, right? Like and then like later on when Gemma hits Alien Boy 2 with the old pickaxe, he just casually lifts it up and like the next level is like right there. And so I was confused. I know, Jobe, you explained it in your summary as this is another dimension, but I'm like, if it's another dimension, how do you just have another dimension beneath the sidewalk?
I don't know.
Because Tom was digging in the yard, not under the sidewalk. See, private property isn't zoned for interdimensional travel. The sidewalk is. That's municipality.
Yeah, but you see, he lifted it up and he went back like 30 yards, which was under a house. You see where I'm getting at?
So many zoning ordinance broken.
I have an actual answer for that, but
of course you do, Trace. Trace was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go find logic."
No, it would risk agreeing with Jobe, so I can't. It's gonna forever be a mystery now.
That's one for Jobe.
Son of a bitch. Thanks, guys.
Hey, no problem, boss. Hanging out for the boys.
You want to hear? Here's my cringe. Sorry, Trace just officially ridded me of my point.
It's true.
Oh, here's another one.
No!
So I believe in my, again, pretentious, admittedly, viewing, that the hole and the digging represents Tom getting a career.
What?
In this metaphor,
hold on, he's cooking. Hold on, he's cooking. Let him cook.
And this metaphor, where if you stay with me for a second, it's all about just living a life of suburbia. So Tom, after some time, finds something he doesn't mind doing, and he puts a lot of work into it. He spends most of his days there, away from his family, until he comes back and eats, and it starts to put some strain on his relationship, but he keeps on going back to it. He keeps on listening because he thinks that if he works hard on this hole, he will eventually get somewhere. However, as is often the case, he just keeps ending up in the same hole, digging his life away until eventually he gets too old to dig the hole anymore, and he dies. Because condensed life.
I'm gonna have to agree with Jobe on this one. I think he's making a valid point, actually.
Counterpoint. He gets bored because there's nothing to fucking do in this house.
That's surface level, Trace. You gotta dig deeper. You gotta read between.
I'm not.
Have you not taken an English class in your life?
No,
you can't just read the words on the paper. You have to go to the next level. You have to know what the author was thinking. God, Trace.
So where I'm at with that is this movie fucking sucked, and I refuse to dig any deeper than Jesse Eisenberg did.
Well, he dug fairly deep, so you still have a little bit of catching up.
Well, no, but I'm not gonna do that either. I refuse. This movie sucked.
I before In a Land Beyond Time and Space, I saw this clipped on TikTok like 30 times. You know, the really bad ones that have like
Yeah.
Subway Surfer or like
Oh,
GTA 5
yeah.
underneath. And I got like the whole story pretty much in those like 3 1 minute TikTok videos, and that's my main complaint. Like I said, like
Yeah.
yes, metaphors. Additionally, metaphors don't have to be fucking 2 hours. How long was this movie again? Did we figure that out?
Oh,
Hour
I
and
did. and then
36
forgot.
minutes.
Oh,
God.
God.
Yeah,
How?
God.
It's not that long, guys.
It's
But not
too
a lot
long.
happens.
Yeah,
Not a
is-
lot
no,
happens, man.
it is a long time when nothing happens. If I'm
Okay.
sitting there and staring at a rock for an hour and a half, that's a long time.
I will also concede this movie is not going to be for everyone.
That's another one for the boys. Like I was saying, I almost fell asleep watching this movie because I was so eepy. And then I was like, man, I didn't fall asleep. And then like 20 minutes later, I was like, man, if I had fallen asleep and woken up, I would have still been seeing Gemma and Tom digging a hole. He's digging a hole.
Oh.
And there's still the little baby kid out here. Like, there's no difference. If I had fallen asleep, I would have just missed the kid screeching a little.
I think I would have liked it better had Gemma gone full tilt into motherhood. Like if she had gone full parental, like, yeah, no, this is our kid, this is our son. I think I would have enjoyed it more because I feel like there would have been a little more stake in the game. But instead, there was just the, I think we can get along, and then she goes immediately back to, "You're not my son."
Well, in her defense, he then grows a George Lucas goiter.
In what was I saying? Something's defense.
No,
Nobody's
I-
defense. In my own defense, this movie is it is, I would consider it a psychological horror movie. Very emphasis light on the psychological horror. It's not really like horror-y. It's one of those movies that just kind of weirds you out, you know? Like I wasn't like spooked, you know? Maybe when the kid did that weird thing with his like throat and made
yeah.
2 big ass orbs.
The
orbs.
Thank you. Up here, that was a little freaky, but I wish they had done more to make the kid like
Creepy.
weirder.
He
like-
definitely needed to be.
Like
I don't know. He's pretty weird.
he is weird, but like he's weird, and then after a certain point, it doesn't like change. You're just like, okay, he screams because he wants food or whatever, and then he can mimic voices really good, and he has the orbs on his neck. Like that's the extent.
Most of this, he just really does have the mindset of a toddler, because what does a baby do when it needs food? Shit its pants, is bored, is tired. All they do is cry and scream. Like that's all he does in it.
It could have been more appealing if they had leaned into how he was like copying Gemma, but they only really show it a few times when they're at the breakfast table and she would take a sip of something or eat something and he copies her exactly at that moment. And then throughout the film, we see him like rub his face like he's brushing hair out of his face like Gemma does. If they had done more of that, where like throughout the movie, we just see him start picking up the same mannerisms as Gemma since she's there all the time. It could have been a little more, but especially like when we get to old young boy, old boy, he like kind of all those mannerisms or anything kind of like disappear. Like it would have been better, I think, if you had still seen him like rub his face to get rid of the hair like Gemma does, or done something like that. But at that certain point, it's like, okay, there's just like a stranger living in their house that's doesn't even screech anymore. The screeching part was like
The most charming.
At that point, he's just like a homeschooled kid.
like Jobe.
Yeah. What else?
New lore, Jobe was homeschooled. It's set in stone.
Okay.
Add it to the wiki.
Yeah.
So I will agree. I would have preferred it maybe a little bit more had Martin 2 maybe carried over some more of Gemma's mannerisms into his adulthood. I believe though, what it's kind of going for is the he is their son, and like no matter how much they fight that is what happened. They raised him, and as part of raising him, he starts off, he just copies mom and dad because that's all he knows. But then as he grows and starts to leave with his book to, I assume, learn, he then starts to become more and more of his own man until eventually he reaches adulthood. And again, like I said, it would have been nice if he still carried over some of those mannerisms, but he no longer needs to copy them. He has had enough of his own experiences that he is now his own man, his own Martin.
I see your point. Something that could have made it a little better for me and made it not boring if, since the movie's Vivarium and it's supposed to be like a, self-enclosed ecosystem, whatever the shtick is, right? If they had like other things that you would have in a life, like for example, like what if like we just see like a second Martin show up in an ice cream truck, down the street and wouldn't answer any questions about anything, but just like, here's the ice cream truck because, kids get ice cream at the ice cream truck or something like that, right? I don't know, just something
call it that.
like stupid stuff like that. That would like, oh, this is what happens in life. You go to the ice cream truck, you go to the fucking movies, you have Christmas or something, right? Like, but it would have been more in such a way, like I guess how these creatures view it, so it's a little weird, not exactly like as true to the real world it would be, like you go to the ice cream man and he's like the Schwan guy for some reason, but he acts like I don't know, he's got like a whole leg of ham or something in there, and you're like, hell yeah, you're the ice cream man? Yeah. Oh yes, the ice cream man, and he just has, I don't know, something weird, I don't know.
If you're a Schwan,
so yeah, like their own perception of what they think humans would be doing.
Or something like that, like.
But like, yeah, he doesn't get experience. Like, I know they do the whole, oh, you met somebody else? Where were you? Meeting other people. And then, there's a little allusion to that every day he goes off in the middle of the day to wherever the fuck he goes. But like, it doesn't really show that he's getting any experience. He just is continuing to be weird. He doesn't really grow.
Yeah,
sure he does. He gets like 3 feet taller.
Okay.
Did y'all think this kid was worse or the kid from the Babadook?
I did have in my notes death match. This kid versus Babadook kid. Who wins?
Well, like they're fighting. I mean,
fighting with no prep time. Fighting no prep time. Because with prep time, the kid from the Babadook wins, right?
No prep time, but they both think that the other is a glass, and they think they're both opera singers, so they're just screaming at each other.
Oh, so who's the better screamer? Definitely Babadookie.
Babadook kid's got it for the win.
New Martin, like he could sustain a scream though. That was like
he can hold it. That's
true. He was there for a while.
It reminisces of like who would win, like Superman or Batman. Like with prep time, the kid from the Babadook is like Batman. He would win. He's got his little fucking cannon in the back, tripped Martin down the stairs. If Martin fell down the stairs, he'd be like a turtle or something. He just panicked. He's like, this wasn't in the books. Like what?
It sounds like you're describing the two spies cartoon.
Yeah,
like they're just going at each other. Yeah, spy versus spy. There you go. I think there was one. I think one of the problems of this movie that makes it not good is the distinct lack of digging, because I remember loving Holes, and that has at least like 8 more holes and a lot more digging in it.
Can't tell. He was digging the whole movie, dog.
Yeah, but it's only one hole.
How many holes does this man need?
I don't know.
Yeah,
how
he
many
didn't want to
holes
change careers partway through his life. He'd already settled in that hole.
I wonder if they could have done a thing with like, hey, he had like a midlife crisis or something, partway through digging the hole. He goes off and he just goes off and starts digging a hole on another person's lawn or something,
Somehow comes back with a Harley.
Like, what would happen if he just went into another house and just slept there instead? Like, no one else is using them.
The whole secretary starts to invite him out for happy hour.
God. Hey, you've been doing a lot of work today. You think maybe you want to go get a drink at the drinking hole?
Sorry, I need to get back to my demon child.
You should. It's probably screaming right now. Cut to the kid screaming at Gemma while she's trying to feed him mac and cheese.
Just the defeat that they have after a while. I'm just like, we got to just do this for this kid so he'll shut up. Versus there's also the scenes where they're just like, man, I really fucking hate this kid. It's that scene where they flip him off in the beginning. Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
I do like at the end though, when when Gemma tells Mark Zuckerberg, she's like, why didn't you just let me kill the kid? Because that was an important plot point. Mark Zuckerberg was like, I'm going to take this kid and I'm not going to feed him. And Gemma's like, no, don't do that. And Mark's like, no, we're American. This is how we treat kids in America. We lock them in the car until CPS shows up. And then Gemma said, no, I want the boy. Are you okay, my little boy?
Yes, mother. I'm okay.
Don't be scared. I'm your mummy.
Call me mummy.
Shout out to all my people from England.
There you go.
And at some point in the movie, Tom trips over the boy and hits his head on the pavement. So he gets up, picks him up, and just slams him down into the
pretty
concrete.
good. And she's like, what are you doing? And he just goes back inside.
He just walks off. Are you okay? Child's just smiling. Ha!
And then he gets up and starts dancing around. Oh, he sucks at dancing. He's so bad.
Have you
Oh
seen
my.
children dance?
Yeah, they suck. Get better.
Do you remember that kid at our wedding that was?
Oh yeah. What? No one? He
Yeah.
was pretty
When we got married.
No, he had a fucking. This kid was. He was just running around. What was he hitting? He was hitting some move.
There was like 4 of them hitting the gritty.
I'm talking about the one with the blonde mullet.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And he was just running around. And he's like, "Oh no!" He came up to me because I was one of the people getting married, so I got some sway in this. And he goes, "Do the chicken dance!" And I'm like, "There's no chicken dances will be played." He's like, "On the chicken dance."
Dude, those kids were fucking crazy, but still better than this kid. Better than the boy one.
Yeah, Madison and I said, "Hey, if we ever have a kid, and if he's ever like this, we have
Put him
elbow
away.
to the soft spot of the head, right?"
So you kind of understand where they're coming from. Because reasonably, if you did have a child and they were a bit of a brat, you obviously would still need to take care of them.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and interject with the what Trace would do in this situation part of the podcast.
Oh, we love this
So-
bit.
Assuming we have things like, my problem is that there's just nothing to do here, right? Like I just assume that's probably an England thing. Like that's what those pink houses are.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So
This is turning to Trace with prep time beats solos the verse. Like,
no, all I'm saying is if they give you a house and like if I have like if I have a TV, a backyard, a computer, and I can just like
no computer.
chill,
No computer.
I could
No
still do it
TV.
with a TV.
TV has one channel and it's squiggly lines.
All right, I feel like I could. I do
Squiggly
feel like I
lines.
could find a way to entertain myself while raising this kid because I'm not stressed. I don't have to make house payments. I don't have to worry about car payments. I'm getting free food. Like I don't have to pay for anything. This is like prison, but better.
So you might say, with a certain level of contentment, time would just fly by, and before you know it, your child would grow up to be a full-grown man.
I told Madison, I was like, "What? They could just walk around naked and just have a nudist colony." You know what I'm
There you
saying?
go.
Is it a colony with only 2 people?
There's 3 people, Job. Did you forget about the
Yeah.
child?
Yeah, but I don't think.
Or
the
did you
child
forget
made
about
it.
the
and he
woman?
was-
Who
and
did
he
you
was
forget about,
naked.
Job?
I forgot about Mark. He was in the hole.
The
Tom?
baby was naked.
No, Zuckerberg.
That's my bit. You can't take that.
Yeah, dude, come on.
No, I've got a copyright on every bit that happens.
If
on
you're
the
not gonna
show.
let him play with
do
you,
you?
let him play at
Do you,
you.
bud?
Oh, do your bud. Do you now?
Oh, is that right there, bud?
Okay, bud. Okay, hoser.
Okay, there, bud.
Like,
Why don't you just calm down, bud? Get yourself some Tom Hortons. There's a Tim Hortons.
Tim.
I made myself look like a
You
fool in front of the
suck
Canadian
so
viewers.
hard.
They just opened one in
So
Houston.
bad at sucking.
If that's a place. I saw that on
Oh yeah,
TikTok.
we drove by it.
You saw Houston on TikTok? That's insane.
Okay.
I also
So
saw it in
anyway.
Houston. Now they'll never
So
know.
the child watching squiggly lines represents a child watching like Coco Melon.
Cocomelon.
No, absolutely not. I refuse.
Or
Let's
Teen
hear it. Hold
Titans
on.
style.
Let's hear what he says.
I mean, it doesn't go that deep. I mean, even Tom points it out is like, you're yelling at this thing to stop watching cartoons late at night. And it's like, yeah, that's just exactly what it's supposed to be. But
Yeah.
because they're old and decrepit adults, they don't understand cartoons. So it's just a bunch of lines and sounds.
Okay,
to
but I
them.
don't think this is supposed to be from the parents' point of view.
Whose point of view
supposed to
is it?
be
The kids.
no, the outside person's
Absolutely
point of
not.
view.
Well,
Because it's a Vivarium. We're watching them
That-
revive.
that
They're
could-
viving in the area.
We're watching a life happen in a controlled area.
That could be,
God.
but that's still not the parents'
Oh
point
my
of view,
gosh.
though.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's the parents' point of view.
No,
but
I-
we're
no, I-
old. We're old,
right.
Trace.
But not
we're the
not everyone who
parents.
watches it is old, though.
You have to be. It's a rated R movie. I
Nah.
think.
Because they're fucking. I mean, they say
yeah.
fuck enough.
Yes.
I think it is
Rated R. You
And,
have
okay,
to be old to watch the
Okay,
movie.
you're telling me
legally.
you never watched a okay, I'm not talking to Marshall because I know he didn't, but you're telling me you never watched a rated R movie before you were allowed to?
No, I watched 22 Jump Street. And I was so
Oh.
scared that the person in the theater was going to be like, let me see an ID.
Marshall drenched in a sweat trying to watch 22.
No, it was me and this kid I knew in high school, and I was like maybe 15, and he was 1 year older, and we go to this theater, and we had his mom buy tickets online, and we start walking in, we're like, oh yeah, we're the shit. We show this guy our tickets, and we start walking by, and he's like, theater 7 down here, right? And we start walking, and he just goes, are both y'all 17? We go, yeah.
You still do that.
Shut
You
up.
too.
No, fuck you.
Having never worked at a movie theater, they never check.
Having worked in a movie theater, you just eyeball it, man. Like,
Yeah.
listen, if a man like Joe came up and you look at him, painting the picture for the audience out here, Job is like 5'4" and looks like a fucking pasta noodle.
Which one?
If he came up to the
Wait, what
counter,
kind?
he's a gnocchi. Found out they make those out of
Ooh.
potatoes today.
Yeah, they do.
I was gonna say elbow.
Because I've got a bad posture.
I know a guy named Elbow. Anywho, you would look at Job, 5'4", 5'2", whatever height he is that day, and you'd be like, that man's not 17.
Big difference.
I can't let you in there. Hey, yo, 2 inches is a big
Fair.
difference?
Yeah.
Hey, yo!
For our listeners out there, 2 inches makes a world of difference.
Shout out to all my construction workers out there measuring shit.
Measure twice, cut once. We want to hear the reason why this all takes place over 100 fit in within the metaphor. Or I'm sorry, it takes a whole year, so it's 200 days.
Just 1 year is like 100 with you, Job. Heart.
Did you just say 100? Did you say 200
100
days
years
is a year?
is 2 days. I was going back to an earlier bit when you were like 100 days or half a year.
All right, well, I moved past that and had a stroke trying to listen to you.
All right, for all our listeners, pause right now and have a stroke. Okay, now clean yourselves up and hit play again.
Case, come on.
Wait, Job, how are they going to know when to hit play if they hit pause?
Oh,
Oh no!
You fool!
So anyway, the reason that besides the obvious physical ailments that digging has taken on Tom's body, they for the most part stay the same physically. Not so much mentally, they do kind of deteriorate by the end. But that is to represent how while you age, your body does get slower and your mind gets more weary, but at your core, you're still just the same 20-something young person trying to find a house. It's just and your soul can't accept it.
I think it's more so the kid grows up at an accelerated rate and they stay the same because it doesn't take that long.
I actually looked this up. I want this to be taken with like a handful of salt, not just a grain, because it was from a Quora article. Quora.
Dude, I hate Quora. Sorry.
Referencing something one of the directors or the producer said, whatever, where essentially the reason Tom deteriorates so much versus Gemma and the boy was because Tom is more exposed to the outside elements and it's all unnatural, as we see with like the strawberry and how it doesn't have taste and stuff like that. The outside is not natural, so he's more exposed, sleeping out there and shit. So that's why he
It does look like he's like from Lazy Town.
what the fuck does that mean?
Like the whole nothing.
No.
Nothing looks real. Like he
Yeah.
throws a cigarette and claymation disappears, and then even the clay like that he's digging with underneath, it looks like an odd color and it looks cartoonish.
Hey, so shout out to everyone that's prepping for the SAT. This is why we need to have clear use of our pronouns and proper nouns, because when I was talking about Tom and Trey said he is from Lazy Town, since the last proper noun I used was Tom, I thought he was talking about Tom when he was in fact talking about the boy. How silly of Trish for not using his proper nouns.
Hey, I was talking about all of them technically.
No, you weren't.
When he
Shut
said
up.
he meant the property.
The monster house.
I
Yo!
think,
Whoa!
house is a masculine word, I think.
Nah,
Casa.
casa. It's
Casa
la
these
casa.
nuts.
I think it depends on the language, actually.
I mean,
Oh,
yeah, but
duh.
in
Stupid boomer.
Espanol.
Shout out to all my boomers out there.
It's gender neutral
So
in German.
get this. The reason we stay with the parents and we don't see what the boy is doing is just because you, as a parent, can't always be there in your child's life, and at some point they start leaving
can't.
you and gallivanting about with God knows who.
Crackheads.
Maybe, although with that tie, they're definitely at least on blow.
Yeah, they're
crack.
doing for sure. I think
Sure.
I don't know. The whole ending bit is a little trippy when
and
it
cool.
that I'll say is it's trippy, but like it only lasts like 5 whole minutes, and I'm like, oh wow, this could have been the whole movie and been more interesting. But I don't know. It seems I know that she's probably hysterical, but like the idea that she thinks that the boy would help Tom in any conceivable way after having abused him his whole life of a year, it's weird to me to think like, oh there he is, help, hey, you have to help me because Tom's dying, and he's just like, no,
Oh, I got the right thing for this.
he's a body bag.
The boy going to the local boy store to pick up a body bag. It's a surprise tool that will help us later.
Then he comes back already gone, and Gemma just walks up to him, grabs him by the face, and goes, "You were too late."
No! No!
Your dad's
Turn
dead!
it off!
Cut it out. Cut it out.
No, hear me out. There are real people who will be shitty, abusive parents.
Yeah.
And then
No,
later on, when they need
don't
help,
bring it up.
turn to
Tracy's
the
gonna bring up
child.
his mom.
But later on, when they need help, they'll turn to the child and be like, "Come on, you got to help us. We're family."
Marshall, I wasn't even thinking about it because this mom is a good mom.
Shout out to all my for all my Vivarium heads out there. It looks like there's probably not going to be a Vivarium 2, given that this movie had a budget of
Oh,
$4
no.
million. I'm assuming 3 of that $4 million was Mark, and the other one was Imogen, because there's like 3 characters in this whole
They were
thing.
producers,
True.
though.
Yeah. But guess how much it made at the box office, Jobe?
40,000.
$434,000.
Hey, not bad.
Now we do a little calculation here. Let me do some math.
But not
All right,
bad.
well, you do that. So get this, right?
No.
At the end, Gemma's mind is like fully melting away, and she starts asking these things like, "Who am I? Well, you're my mother. What does a mother do?" Right? And all of that until she's carried to sleep, the eternal sleep. His mom got the dementia.
I'm gonna look. I understand. I'm also gonna go out on a web here and say that's dumb.
I think it's from the dimensional travel.
If they would explain, if that was more explained, sure.
Why was
Okay,
she
fine.
slipping through the floor of a house that someone lived in, and why was it red? That confused me.
Because nothing in this makes sense.
It would have been better if it wasn't dimensions, there wasn't the colors, it was just like Vivarium stacked on Vivarium, right?
Yeah, like she was actually slipping
They
through
were
into
in
another one.
time and
Nope.
space, the
I-
fourth
no.
dimension.
No, like an underground facility, and instead of making this huge ass thing where it's just one person's, it's just a house there, right? It's not like the whole shtick, right? Because they don't even use the other houses, right? Just the one house, and then every now and then they open the door and say, "Now go out. There's a theme park out there," and then they can mingle with the other couples that supposedly moved into Vivarium land,
A mixer.
Yeah.
right? And they have their kids. but they're supposed to be with their kids, and they leave their kids for too long. They start screaming, right? And then we can have like, oh, something happens. A kid fell off the fucking roller coaster and he's alive, but his head's like backwards now, so we just live with that or something.
Just lives backwards.
Oh man. Now we're known as the parents with a backwards headed kid.
Imagine like the cubes from the cabin in the woods all had a little house as a vivarium with their own little Martin and their own little Mark Zuckerberg and Imogene, and they're all just hanging out. I think that would have been more interesting, and I didn't have to think as much about it.
Yeah.
The good thing we have Jobe here, certifiable English major. Do you have a minor in anything, Jobe?
No.
Minor in English.
Major in perf, which is short for performing arts. Shout out to all my perf heads. And then a minor in English to tell us the intricacies of English.
Yeah, I think I did my due diligence, calling my whole analysis pretentious at the front, but it's fun. So here I go again. Yeah. Ultimately, obviously, I can't speak for certain because I'm not a parent, and I can't speak for all parents. But I do.
Are you sure?
There is just a certain. Oh God, did they elect me? Have I been nominated King of the Parents?
You're Mr. Parent.
I am King Parent.
We hand you the nuclear diaper.
You like them.
Isn't that a sex move?
Yeah.
Sure, dog. Probably, man. Hey, roll with it.
Anyway,
ignore us. You do your thing, man.
Anyway, so I see where you're coming from with that, but the reason to me that it works to just have it be them is that, like, no matter what, at the end of the day, there is a certain isolation that comes from being with your family. You kind of become your own island, right? That ultimately will be separate from everyone, no matter how close or how many block parties you go to.
But what's the point of mazing this kid if he's just gonna, like, to take over Martin's job? They need more kids. Like, they just have a 1-to-1 replacement. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Why does any family have one kid, right? It's humanity itself is a self-perpetuating cycle of birth and death.
Okay, so I'm gonna here's the thing though. That's dumb.
Fuck you. That's not analysis.
Remember back in the old college days, we used to room together. We were like we were almost an improv group, except I didn't do improv and Trace didn't do improv.
I did
a
couple of improvs.
Shut up. It was just Joe.
This is our improv group.
Joe tried to get me to improv once by telling me that my girlfriend was there, and I didn't have a girlfriend. It's just a girl I had a crush on.
And then remember when Joe would either get really drunk or high or both, and then he would just start like freaking out about like civilization and like life or humanity. Do you remember that?
No.
Anxiety attack.
We would go because Joe would work. He would work nights at the hotel, Hotel Transylvania specifically.
Not to be confused with Night at the Museum.
And then he'd come back and he'd be like, "So guys, I watched a video on this theory, and like, what if this is all a simulation, guys? What if we're one on collective consciousness?" And I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about, dude? Let's just play some Elden Ring. I'll watch you play Crash Bandicoot. We'll just make a mess in our apartment, have a pizza at Domino's that was kind of bad.
That one sucked.
That Domino's was garbo. You agree?
Fuck that.
Hey, shout out to Hayward Ave.
Hey, yo, Hayward Ave, homies.
You guys were bad.
No, the Hayward Ave was good.
No, that one.
The Hayward Ave was primo.
The one by us was bad.
That wasn't that.
No, Trace, you don't know where we lived, obviously.
Sure, I did. I lived there for a little less than you guys.
Was it on Kellogg or was it just by?
Oh,
Kellogg?
It was on the corner of Kellogg.
We're doxing where we used to live.
That's fine. We don't live there anymore.
Well, we don't live there anymore, so it's fine.
We've got remnants of us there.
Oh no! Soul of a fallen soldier.
That's where the One Piece is
still there.
I don't have an explanation for the interdimensionalness and how that falls. Wait, I got it.
No,
that was for joining a Facebook support group for moms.
What? Shut up! Absolutely not. Fuck off. So I think the problem I have with this movie and it being like trying to be a horror film is that it's not actually scary. It's just that
Sure it
kind of
is.
it's just like an overwhelming anxiety of
Jobe's scared because he doesn't want to be a father.
like there's all kinds of like people like, oh, could you stay alone for a year if we gave you $2 million? And I go, yeah, fuck it, I don't give a shit. It would suck, but it's not scary because it's just not gonna happen.
No, we're gonna skip over Joe because he's made too many points. We're gonna go to
No, I
Marshall.
would.
If they had done more with
Get
the
it to you,
kid,
Marshall.
and oh yeah, thanks. I'm gonna pick it up like a football and run with it for the touchdown here because this point's about to be a banger.
Funny.
So we all know the bit where he like runs on all fours and crawls. He had to learn that from somewhere.
Yeah.
If they had
If he did
done
that somewhere else,
if he did more of the running or the running the all fours deal, that would have been freaky. I would have given it a higher score if more running on all fours.
We remember Hereditary episodes ago.
I
The
don't.
mom's crawling around on the floors and the ceilings and the walls. Like, if he had done that, the entire movie would have been way more interesting.
No, it wouldn't have. You would have gotten
Yeah,
bored
because I'd
of
be
it.
like,
It'd be
"What's up with this kid doing?" No, actually, it'd be a lot funnier because it'd just be like the kid
Yeah, it
standing
would
up
be
going,
funnier.
"Ruff, ruff, ruff, ruff," and then he spins around on the floor and he's just running around all fours. And goes,
Trace.
this kid kicks ass.
Job is right. You would have been like, actually, in that situation, right? What I have done is I would have deconstructed the house and built myself a little survival bunker by myself, right? I would have
He
actually.
doesn't have the right joints for walking on all
I would have gotten
fours.
on the ground with him, and we would have become a dog family.
He would have wrestled him. Hey, boy, let me wrestle you.
I would forget how to speak English because we would only speak in rough, rough.
Do you like movies with gladiators in them?
Sure. You mean like Spartacus, or
You like watching grown men shower?
So the real horror of this movie to me
Same
is
answer.
the thought of just living a mundane suburban life.
we did that
And,
already? I'm fine.
Job is trying to make a dig at something. Maybe me, 'cause it's what we do.
No, I mean it's
Uh,
fine if that's not your nightmare.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Go
But no,
be
I'm just saying,
boring.
again,
Yeah.
kind of going
Fine,
back
fine.
to like Be My Cat. This is a very
another
personal
shitty movie.
But I had my own personal
another
reasons
Jobe
for liking
pick.
it. How does this keep happening? Do
I
I
don't know.
subconsciously feel the need to defend the movies I pick so it doesn't look like I have bad taste? Maybe.
I think
Yes.
I think you would deliberately find terrible movies and go, somebody needs to defend this, and it will
Hey,
be me.
It was either this or Slender Man. But no,
Which
we
I
couldn't
would've had
rent
more
Were
fun
Slender
those
with.
the
Man.
options? We had so many
$3.99.
other options
And
that we
that
were
just
talking
wasn't-
through.
That just wasn't
Yeah,
one of them.
and you skipped right over Dampier.
No, because
Dampier also
okay,
looked
fuck Dampier, but that last week was also, hey, what should we watch? Well, you haven't picked one. Trace, you pick one. All right, I'll do Vivarium. Let's do Vivarium. And that was it. And I was like, all
No,
right.
don't forget, Job also said we need to watch the trailer on YouTube after I've already selected.
He also said we need to watch a bad movie because I want a dog on something. And then he did
It's
it.
not my fault. I fell in love with the narrative of Vivarium.
Let's watch something that sucks. Then then we turn over
bitch.
after the movie and we're like, man, that did suck, right, Job? And Job's fully in tears. His eyes are like 3 times the size and they're watering and throbbing.
No,
As a boner.
eyes don't throb.
Sure they
I
do.
mean, it's fine to like defend movies that
No.
you are like find entertaining, but like one other person on the planet has to agree with you, right? Like I've said before, I might have said before. I don't think I've said before. Who knows? My favorite movie of all time is Spirit, Stanley Cimarron. I watched it the first time. Me and my wife met each other. We put it on. She was expecting, all right, little Netflix and chill, and then there I am crying at this horse movie at like 10 o'clock in the night. Right? It's a beautiful movie. What I'm trying to say is, some people are gonna watch a movie and be like, "Wow, this is entertaining." Right? Me watching Vivarium, not that person, right? Like I'm sorry, that just ain't me. Maybe there's one guy out there, and that guy's Jobe. You know,
That was such a long-winded way of saying my favorite movie is
yeah.
Spirit, and Vivarium isn't that.
That's a long trail to get to. This one ain't for me.
You know what was my favorite movie? Spirit. You know it wasn't my favorite.
All right, while we're airing our dirty laundry, sure, this was no Treasure Planet. What of it?
But okay, but I was, I can't just say. I can't just say something, right? Because then the podcast will be over. It's like, we watched Vivarium. Did you like it? No. All right, thanks. Join us next week when we watch Fuck You 2, Revenge of the Fuckers.
Oh my god.
Providing color commentary. That's what you brought me on for. My beautiful impersonality and my wonderful improv skills, my horrible British accents.
You didn't even do a British accent.
Exactly. It was so bad. It was just American accent.
Marshall.
Do one. Do it right now.
Wait, mate. Fish and chips.
So good.
Yeah.
You can make it over
kind
there.
of Lovecraftian in a way, with all the unexplainable things going down. That one might be a bit of a reach.
That's a bit of a reach.
No, it's okay. It is.
Tweet.
No, it's actually
Number 2,
I take it.
Black shirt.
That's it.
Reach.
Hashtag Jobe for Mr. Fantastic, because that was a stretch. Add a little tish.
That's so bad.
Oh god.
So unless you guys have any other points you want to bring up, overall, this movie.
So there I was, 14 years ago.
Oh, they do. I will say they do have a fun little language in there. It's like just some kind of hieroglyphic stuff. However, a lot of it just is like the unknown Pokemon. Like I'm pretty sure they just pulled the symbols out and went, we could use that.
All right, Jobe, give your score.
So,
it's gonna be way too high.
Comparatively, yeah, probably. But I give Vivarium a pretentious English minor analysis 8 out of 10.
Insane. Absolutely crazy.
You're whack. You give Monster House a way less score than that. Are you kidding me?
How? This is better than Monster House.
You are the only one. Shut up.
I don't care. I don't care. Mouth. Give it a 1. See if I care.
You are the only one who keeps track of their scores. I want you to look back and reflect on all of them and realize you gave this one an 8.
Yeah, I do. Every time I look back on all the other ones and I'm like, okay, I've given some movies a 7 that this movie's better than. So 8 it is.
It's not. In no world is this an 8.
All right, everyone listen up. Enough of the bullshit. Marshall here, give you a real man score, right?
Get it to Marshall.
This is like when you go on Rotten Tomatoes and then you find like the critic score, that's Jobe, and then you find the audience score, it's your boy, right?
Breach.
1.32. That's solid, I think. Final answer.
So I'll just, my closing statement is, wow, that sucked. I'm god damn it, I'm fucking flabbergasted. So I did give it a 2 out of 10. I'm now changing that to 0 because of Jobe's score, and I have to bring down the average.
Wow. Way to give your opinion based on others. Anyway, I averaged our scores. Wait, I think I did something wrong because it averaged out to a 9.3.
How the fuck? What'd you give it, a 0?
Yeah, that means you just added Marshall's score to yours.
Okay. Divided by 3. All right, the average is 3.1.
It's just not. The average is 2.7, Jobe. 7 plus 1.32 plus 0 divided by 3 is 2.
I didn't give it a 7. I gave it an 8.
Oh, you give it an 8? That changes things. I just thought a 7's ridiculous.
But an 8's ridiculous-er.
It is. It's insane.
All right.
Thanks for joining us, buttholes. Go to the comment. Watch the movie. Go to the comments and tell me how stupid I am.
Do it, please.
I want to shout out our sponsor, all my Vivariums out there. Thanks for sponsoring the video. Next week we will be watching Krampus. This is a I want to say it's a Marshall picked movie, but on the other hand,
it's a
Marshall was peer pressured to pick a movie. He was scared to suggest a movie, and then Jobe just goes, "No, just tell us what we're watching." I'm like, "Well, what if we watch this?" And they're like, "No, tell us." So we're watching Krampus because I got peer pressured, and I think they held it.
The movie went, well, what if we watched this was also Krampus?
Were you going to say you think we held you at gunpoint?
Yeah.
It's hard to tell because you can't see my arms on the screen, but I am.
All right. We'll see you next week. Follow us on Spotify and listen to us on Spotify and all the other places where you can get your podcasts.
Yeah, follow the Instagram.
Tell your
TikTok.
friends, tell your family,
family.
make your dog watch it.
And have a good night.
Bye, y'all. I wave
Yeah.
to the camera. Jobe, do the music fades in.
Slash wave.
Spread my asshole.